I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so ever since the late 1980s through the 2000s, figure skating shifted from focusing on marking through artistic appeal, like the music interpretation, and then the choreography, the uniqueness, etc., into something more technical, so like quads, jumps, and so on and so forth. So in status quo, the center of appeal is in technical rather than as artistry. The thing is, we regret this, and we want to bring back the artistry measure of figure skating. Be a sport like a figure skating when they focus on something more technical, it will actually reduce the actual value of the sport itself and also reduce the unique trait of it. So we want figure skating to go back to its roots of being artistry rather than focusing on the technical measures. So I'll straightly move on to my arguments, and for my first argument that it is making figure skating a technical sport removes its original uniqueness and identity as a sport that has artistic roots. So the thing is, before people consider before getting into a sport, right? Before they take that sport for a hobby or even professionally, they consider a lot of things. But one of the things that is into the classification or into the categorization is between artistry and also technical, where in artistry it's like artistic gymnasts or like equestrian that focus on like art value, elements, or quality of it, right? And then technical is like the baseball, the hockey, and so on. Those are technical because why? Because they measure it based on quantity, based on your physical ability, like you have to be physically strong and so on. So it focuses on the technical elements. The thing is, figure skating has already been known as an artistic sport. Like it has roots of artistic sport where qualitative is more than the quantitative, right? So you don't count the jumps, but still you have rhythm and so on. And the thing is, people participate not only to do jumps or just squats, but they also wear their costumes. They also have music playing. So the thing is, like, if we shift, it will reduce or like lose the original aspect, the authenticity of figure skating. We will be like just do sports based on numbers. Like for example, football where you have to score your goal and like that counts. That's what's actually measured. So it will become quantitative. However, if it's applied to skating, then yeah, skating will be just like the number of jump, number of quads, and so on. The thing is, what it causes is that firstly, it will lose its position as an artistic sport because it will focus on technical elements. So it will lose its comparative advantage. The thing is, there's also other ice sports. Let's say we take hockey or like speed skating. These are also sports that are skating, and hockey is also on ice, right? The thing is, when hockey compared to figure skating is extremely technical. Like it's actually technical. You count it based on the number of you can input and not just based on how well you perform, how nice your rhythm is. No. And the thing is, it will make figure skating basically flat, and it will become something similar. Like what's the difference when it's like throughout technical, and it loses the actual artistry uniqueness of figure skating itself. And another thing is that figure skating can also lose advantage and lose audience. So from this advantage, they lose the audience. Why? Because when people watch figure skating, they see what sets it apart, and because there's like music, there's like choreography, there's rhythm, it becomes really enjoyable to see. And when it's enjoyable for them, they would like follow the trends, follow more athletes. And the thing is, what also encourages this brings to the second one, which is it's not predictable. When it's artistic, it's not very predictable who will win because they all have their each own uniqueness. It's not just based on technical ability, but they all have like their own dance, their own choreography, their own music, which is different from each other. So all the athletes are not doing the same thing all at once, which make it boring. But when you do it more technical, it becomes predictable. It's become predictable because like you know that everyone is going to do the same thing. Everyone is going to attempt to do a spin. Everyone is going to attempt to do a quad. They'll just maximize that, and like it's very predictable. You can already see who will win, right? And this also brings to my second argument, which is about how figure skating, when it's made technical, it creates restriction towards the skaters or like the athletes to their career. So basically they also have restrictions and more of it when the sport is rather more technical. So the thing is, we want all sports to be inclusive, right? We want all sports to be as inclusive as possible, as fair as possible, and so on and so forth. That's why there are categories. There are categories in sport. Let's take for an example, we have boxing. When we do boxing, there are categories like based on your height, based on how much you weigh, and why are there all of this? It's all to get fairness, so that it will be fair, so that everyone competes in like pretty much on the same boat. So the thing is, when figure skating is made very technical, or like made purely based on technical, for players, when like it relies on their condition, their posture, and also heavy on biological traits. Like let's say there's this athlete with a lighter body. That means they can perform more quads, perform more jump, and so on and so forth. Also, this is not only about weight, but it's also in like their bone components and like their height and so on and so forth. So making figure skating exclusive will make like the one who can actually get on top are just those with good biological genetics, and this is not fair for everyone or like for every athlete. The thing is, the second thing is that it also makes the productive added cage for this figure skater shorter, because when it's technical, it favors those with the best physical condition, right? It will require the big physical tall, that's why. And they gotta be young to perform best, so as they go older, it will become harder to compete with those who are way younger than you. And like artistry will also make it more fair, and because of this quality measure, because the skill isn't exclusive. It's not just technical, but you can, even if you're older and you cannot like do as much, you can still perform on the artistic measure. That's why it could invite more people to do so, because it also has a longer career term. And my third argument is a trade-off, which is the trade-off for when figure skating becomes figure skating could become more subjective due to the artistry measure. So the thing is, no, this is not really that true, because artistry doesn't always mean subjective. Like there's still rhythm, there's still harmony, and so on, and can be proven objectively. It's still something that could be taken as objective, right? Because other people know, like even the judges give something like a really good score for someone really offbeat, the audience will know and they will say so. Even if like it's gonna be subjective, come on, figure skating is by default subjective. So like there's music, there's code, there's choreography, and so on. That's all the subjective measures already. So if you want something that's extremely technical, then why not just remove all of those completely and like simply tell the athletes to like go jump and like go do these squats and so on and so forth. No need for those subjective measure. No need, just make them all use the same quotes, right? That's why therefore proud to propose.